We are free to choose our actions, but we are not free to choose the consequences of those actions. This is what Stephen Covey said a few years ago. And that's absolutely true, is that we can choose, in a sense, how we act, but we can't choose the results of those actions. Actions produce behavior, and your behavior in your world gives you experiences. Now, those experiences either produce frustration or they produce contentment, peace in your heart, and peace in your life, or frustration. And so the cycle begins, is that those experiences then produce more actions, which produces behavior, which in turn gives you experiences, which in turn reinforces your actions, because you're either frustrated or because you're content. So what is the key to living contented? What is the key to living in peace? That's a question that many people ask. And this is probably one of my favorite topics. Not so much because because I enjoy it, because it's so elemental, but yet such a key to living a successful life. And of course, success, in my paradigm, in my definition, success is not necessarily money. Money can be a consequence. Success to me is a step towards living significantly. So just to clarify that. But the key here is so essential. It's in fact the element of your life that drives your leadership. If you don't lead out of this, then you don't really lead at all. When people are struggling with vision, this is where I go to first. Because if they're struggling to paint a picture of their vision, then it's generally a result of they haven't clarified this. Clarity in this area is so vitally important. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about your value system, your belief system. Those values that have been formed by your experiences, not so much by your recent experiences, but by your experiences growing up. They formed within you. Your education, your friends, your family, your home formed values within you. It's a value system that you hold very dear. It's what is important to you. It's those things that are nearly non-negotiable in your life, unalterable. Well, they are alterable. They need to sometimes shift, because if you're not getting the experiences you want, you need to go back to your values. You either need to shift your values or you need to begin to live your values. And this is the problem, is most people have never clarified them to know what needs to be shifted and what needs to be lived. Your deepest conviction is those values that you live. So we need to understand that values, your value system, your values, what is important to you, drives your actions and therefore drives your behavior. Your values guide your decisions and your choices. If you live your values, you live contented. If you don't live them, you live frustrated. If you live contented, you live satisfied, you live peaceful, you live confident. If you don't live them, you live frustrated, which becomes anger, which becomes bitterness. Your values are your measure, your boundaries to your life. They're the things that speak to you in situations. Something that I've invested in over the years is in my children's values. I talk to them, and so does their mother. We talk to them continually about their values and what is important. What have we invested as values into their life? I'm very, very cognizant. I'm very focused, very conscious of the values I put into their life, not just by what I say, but the way I live and what they see in my life. And so, because that becomes important, that when they're in a situation, beyond anything, they will hear that value speaking to them. Values are, in a sense, a reflection of your conscience. It's the voice that speaks deep down inside of you. It's your deepest convictions. And so the question is that, do your actions align with your values? Then do your values align with your mission? And does your mission then align with what is just and what is right and what has impact and influence and inspiration? That you can basically begin to see the track of where you're going and how your life becomes significant. 3 key points in this that I think is very important is you need to clarify your values. You need to take time to know and understand why it's important to you. What is important to you? And you got to look at like your top 3 to 5 top values that makes up your value system. Is it personal freedom? Is it devotion? Is it wealth? Is it success? Is it leadership? Is it control? What is important to you? And then to ask yourself why it's important. And then to ask yourself, should you be shifting this? What kind of experiences does this value give you? And if not, then get clarity on it and live it. Live it with courage is the second key. Get clarity, then live courageously. Live your values courageously. Live it with intention and with purpose and with conviction. Measure what you do. Measure your actions and your behavior and your experiences to your values. Does it align up with your values? Do your values line up with your mission? It's very important that you must understand, very important that you live your values to walk in that contentment. The biggest attack will be to undermine your value system. Society will work at undermining your value system. People will try and impose their values on you. And that's my third key. The third key is consideration. Consideration is to be considerate of others' values. You can influence people's values, but always be considerate of their values, because everybody's at a journey. Everybody comes from somewhere. Everybody has had different experiences to you, a different, learning experience through their life. And therefore they are moved and changed by a different kind of value system than you are. And so you have to be considerate of it. Now, many times you'll find people are not considerate of it. However, they want to impose their actions, their behavior, what they think is right on you. And that's where you have to know this is my value system. As a family, I have really worked at influencing the value system within our family, that it becomes foundational to the conviction of what we do as a family. Because when values differ or when values are not the same, you have an internal conflict going on between two people. Have you ever noticed how a husband and wife can have an argument, or two people can have an argument, and you walk away and you think, what was that about? Well, that was a clash of values. Values are those things that drive your action, they affect how you see things. And that's why it impacts on your experiences within your world. And it's not necessarily the right thing. And therefore, sometimes you need to reevaluate where you are and what you believe, and is it important to where you are. The other thing, of course, is you need to understand is do you have integrity to your values? Does your value system have integrity to your mission? This is a real key, and I think one of the things that I notice the most in our world right now is people do not know their values and how to live their values. And so clarify, have courage to live your values, and be considerate of other people's values. Thank you.